Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? We're gonna wait a couple minutes for the people to hop up in here, and then we're gonna go ahead and start breaking some things down. What's going on, Vile? What's going on, Shanasi up in here? Sounds tripping. Let me try to fix it, then. Let me try to fix it. Give me 1 second. Let me see if we can fix it. All right, test, test, test. Let me know if we sound a little better. Okay, it's good now. Okay, cool. It sounds good on my end, Vile. So if it's still acting up, just hop out the live and hop back in, and let me know if we're still sounding funky. I'm about to reopen it on my phone as well. We gotta make sure we're sounding good before we get started. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Got a new video lined up for y'all today as well. Make sure to have y'all's noties on to be ready for that. All right, it sounds a lot better. So let me know if it acts up again though. Make sure I like the live as I hop up in here, y'all, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We just hit 3,400 subscribers. We can hit 3,500 easily. So we're going to be breaking down. We're also going to be going live later on today on TikTok. So make sure you follow me on TikTok. We're going to be going live later on today on there. But yesterday, we had a lot of setups we talked about yesterday. We're going to break all that stuff down. I'm going to try to say some of the stuff so I'm not repetitive for the TikTok live, but we are going to break down some of the stuff right here. So we're going to be looking at continued gold buys. If y'all was in the live yesterday, gold went as projected. So in the live stream yesterday, there was a couple setups that we were looking at. All right. So we was looking at possible GN sales. Obviously, as we can see, GN is still struggling to break this support level and treat it as resistance, right? Remember, we was looking at possible sales here yesterday. Price obviously never broke this level and held it as resistance, just like yesterday during London session, and never broke and held it as resistance. And then we can see here, like we've been talking about for the past couple weeks, and again, I keep saying the same thing for the past couple weeks because as we look at the charts, we can see the same things been happening over and over again, right? So again, we had a couple weeks of when we had this drop to the downside, price struggling to break the support level treated as resistance, which we was talking about, right? Then we had a reversal And then we was looking for buys. We got this nice buy setup, but then price failed to hold this level as support. And we reversed back down. And then we can see here all week price has been struggling to break the same exact level. So again, sells is the move. Like I keep talking about, we're just simply waiting for volume to break these next levels so the trend can continue or a new trend can start, right? Now we do got FOMC today, y'all. We do got FOMC popping off today at 2 p.m. So make sure to keep that time in mind today, y'all. So that doesn't mean there's not going to be any setups. So we're going to be looking for setups prior to that. But on some FOMC days, just like high impact news days, on USD high impact news days, some FOMC events, it's like this, right? So it's either going to be some setups prior to the news, or volume is just going to be dead all day up until 2 o'clock, right? So we're going to see what happens there. Then we got some news tomorrow as well, not too much on Friday. So let me check my schedule really quick because I want to go live on TikTok too. But I know I got a couple meetings and one-on-one sessions. So let me go on my other computer screen really quick. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at your charts, drop them in the chat. New 15 just popped up. So if I get into teacher's mode, let me look at this really quick. Yeah, I like how this, whoops, not that. I like how this is looking right here. Whoops, my bad, y'all. I'm doing like 3 things at once. Y'all know I gotta drop my phone in the mic at least once. Sorry if y'all had earphones or had that thing at max volume, but hey, we're live. Things happen. All right, so give me 1 second. We have not entered this trade yet. This is just a trade idea. We have not entered this trade yet. Make sure to hit that first link in the description for the free signal from Telegram. Again, apologize again. I didn't mean to drop my phone, but I got a lot of stuff on my desk. I'm doing a lot of things right now, so my apologies. Give me 1 second, y'all. So we're going to look at, so with gold, we're going to be looking for continued buys on gold. If gold can continue to hold 33.92 as support, we're going to look for buys going back up to 34.10. All right, so that's what we're looking at right now. Here. See what NAS is doing. NAS is pushing as well. Everything else is kind of just chilling. All right, so picking up where we left off, right? So yesterday's live, we was talking about a couple of setups, right? So obviously GN, we didn't take that setup because our confirmations were not met. So then we took a NAS100 buy, right? We was talking about gold buys. We took this gold position as well as this NAS100 position during the live stream. Not this one, right? This was a position I took off a re-entry after my stop loss got hit. But we took this position right here. Where's that? All right, so we took this position. We took this one live. SO got hit live. We also took this trade, the one that's projected, and I took another position. I got wicked out of this one. Didn't scale this one. Got wicked out, re-entered. But we talked about this setup in yesterday's live stream as well. Remember, we was looking at buys here. This was London session. So this is why it's important to, again, understand what's happening, understand how to read the charts, but also risk the same amount every single trade and be consistent with everything, right? Because even with that loss, there was a bunch of other opportunities to make that money back, right? So one, we started off with this GU setup, so we was already up for the day and the week. So this loss got canceled out by those GU wins. But let's say it was the beginning of the week and we didn't take any trades, right? Let's say this was the first trade we took for the day. This is why it's so important to have good risk ratio setups and to also risk the same amount every single trade. So I'm giving you also extra game right now, but you already know I always got to show love to those that be in the London session live streams because, you know, everybody doesn't watch the lives. So those that watch the lives are always going to get some extra game. That's just how it goes, right? So let's say it was Monday and NAS100 was the first trade I took, right? This is why I talk about this. Let me bring up the video. All right, let me drop it in the chat because I got a video talking about this, right? So this is what we talk about in this video right here. So let me find it really quick. So I'll be dropping so many videos. Let me find it really quick. Where is it at? I'm gonna cut it to the chat in a second. I just want to go over yesterday really quick. But while we're going over that, let me pull up. Turn on this. Let me find this video. Here it is. All right, here's the video. Let me make sure y'all can hear me still. Y'all cannot hear me. Okay, y'all can hear me a little bit better. Yeah, so if my mic gets static, you let me know. Because my wire's not how it's supposed to be right now. Because I'm doing a couple things. But if I do get static, you let me know in the chat immediately so I can fix the mic. That way, y'all can hear what I'm saying. And all that good stuff, all right? So again, don't think if someone said it already, you say it again, don't get mad or cuss you out. I need to know that way y'all can hear what I'm talking about. Because again, for those that's new, when I stream, I don't know if it's StreamYard itself, but the mic gets kind of wonky when I stream with this mic, especially if the wires even touch slightly, right? It's the same mic I used to make all my YouTube videos, but when I live stream, it's a little bit of a different experience, right? So again, if y'all cannot hear me, just let me know, and we'll fix that immediately, right? So again, so we put out the calculator. When I dropped that video in the chat, so after this live stream, make sure to watch this video right here, all right? You should watch this video right here after the live stream. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the handy dandy calculator. We just got an alert. So let's see what the goals we're testing. So let's see what goals can hold that level there. So we got a couple settings we're gonna be looking at. We're gonna be looking at possible GBPJPYs, right? Possible. It's got a little bit of work to do, but we're still stuck in reversal territory, right? And we finally broke that level last week and held that support. And again, just like with GN, failed to hold this low as support, left us right back where we left off last week. Right, so depending on how this week ends, we really want to see the downtrend come into play or volume pick up and uptrend come back into play. So again, a lot of these charts are in these conditions right here. We just had reversals take place with gold and GU yesterday and on Tuesday as well. I mean yesterday and on Monday as well. And then we just had one in the past couple weeks happen with NAS100. Right. We're also looking at possible GN sales. So we got a lot of stuff we're looking at right now. All right, so those are joining live. We're breaking down yesterday. We're breaking down the trading day yesterday. I'm showing y'all why it's important to be consistent with everything, especially how much you're risking and your risk-reward ratio setups and all that good stuff. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we can charts, drop them in the chat. All right, so I'm going to pull out the handy dandy calculator. Okay, where are we at? Oh, here we are. So we got the handy dandy calculator, right? So let's say again, we just went over how we had GU setups we took prior to this setup yesterday, right? But let's say NAS100 was the first setup we took, right? So yeah, we're just gonna do basic numbers. This is what I would recommend, but we're just keeping simple numbers. Right? So let's say we have $1,000 account, right? And let's say we're risking $100 per trade. Again, I don't recommend that. So actually, let's just do a $10,000 account. Make it a little bit more realistic, right? Still a little bit high percentage to risk, but again, we're just using simple numbers. So let's say we have a $10,000 account and we're risking $100 per trade, right? So let's say NAS100, we took the NAS100 trade, SL got hit. All right, boom. We're down $100. Now, again, one thing I always tell the members and students, when we take setups following these rules, which makes it a lot easier for us, especially when we're doing our analysis, because I always say when a trade goes your way, don't just be happy, understand why it went your way. When a trade doesn't go your way, same thing, don't be upset. Understand why it did not go your way, right? So when you follow the playbook and you stick to these rules, whenever a stop loss gets hit, which is rare, It is because of one or two things. It's not because you are wrong. I know that sounds crazy, but when you follow these rules, you stick to these rules, your confirmations, all that good stuff, and stop loss happens to get hit. It is not because you are wrong. Again, I'm saying if you follow the playbook and the rules I haven't put, I'm not talking about any trading strategy. I'm simply talking about how we do things over here, right? So it's never because you are wrong. It's because of one or two things. It's either because of one, low volume, or we get caught in a reversal, which is two things we cannot control, right? Because again, because again, we're trading, we're going for probability, high quality setups. So as long as I didn't break my trading rules, didn't break my trading plan, waited for all my confirmations, went for the same setups I go for that I win trades on, I didn't necessarily do anything wrong, right? So that's why it's important to understand what's going on the charts, and the only way you're going to understand what's going on the charts is if you understand and know how to read the charts. So we can clearly see here that the stop loss got hit. But then when markets open, it shot up and it's doing the move we was looking for. So was we wrong to go for buys here? Should we have gone for sells? No. Why is that? Because again, we can clearly see here there was a lack of volume. We got caught in a reversal, which is nothing we can control. But then later on, markets open, literally gapped, and it started to do the move. It's literally trying to do the move again as we just that we was looking for yesterday. And then on top of that, we are in an uptrend. So if we went for buys in an uptrend, we can't be wrong if we went for buys in an uptrend. You get what I'm saying? Because again, we're going for high probability, high quality setups, and that's some point price is going to have to retrace, reject, or reverse. But as long as we're going with the overall bias and going with the setup that will give us the highest likelihood of the trade going our way, that's what's important to what we're just breaking down and talking about, right? So going back to the calculator, so let's say yesterday was not Tuesday, let's say yesterday was Monday, or just to keep it simple, let's say that NAS was the only trade we took. We didn't take any GU setups, nothing like that, right? So let's say this was the first trade we took for today, right? So boom. Again, we started with a $10,000 account. We're risking $100 per trade. Again, it's just an example to show simple numbers. And then let's say, give me 1 second. Let me pull it back up really quick. Okay. So let's bring it out. So this is why I always talk about you want to go for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum ratio setups. Because again, if you watch yesterday's live, this is what we did in yesterday's live, right? We went for this NAS setup. SL was getting hit, was in drawdown. Then we broke down this gold setup, right? So again, I follow the same rules. I went for the same confirmations. I used the same logic and reasoning for this setup and this setup that I use for NAS100, right? So again, this is why it's important to understand why you're doing what you're doing and understand what's going on in the charts. Because again, was I wrong? Was my strategy wrong or invalid with this NAS100 setup? No, it simply was, again, a lack of volume. We got caught in the reversal and price rejected a level, which we can't control. But here, we didn't have a lack of volume. Well, we kind of did a little bit, but it woke up later on going into New York session. But again, we went with the flow of price. We was bullish on gold. We went for buys in an uptrend, entered buys at support, and trade went our way. So this is why it's important to stay consistent with everything. But again, it helps to be consistent, helps you be consistent when you actually understand the method to the madness of why you're doing what you're doing. Because a lot of times, people will take a trade, and as soon as they lose a trade, they think that the strategy doesn't work no more, or they're doing something wrong. Now, again, depending on what you're doing, you could be doing something wrong. But again, I've been doing this for a while, so I know that the set I went for wasn't the wrong set to go for. It just simply was those conditions. You get what I'm saying? So boom. This was a 1 to 2 ratio set. This was a 1 to 3. So let's say I took this setup here, right? So again, we risked $100. We're down $100. So if I risk another $100, because again, you want to risk the same on every single trade. I lost one as well. That's not smart. Is people will be like, oh, if I'm more confident with this setup, I'm going to risk more. Or if I just lost a trade, my next setup, I'm going to risk less, right? That's how people fuck up their profits as well. Because again, you're not supposed to make the money on the front end when it comes to day trading and investing. It's supposed to be made off the back end. What I mean by that is a lot of people try to make the money off the trade they're taking based off the lot size they put versus the move and ultimately the risk to reward. All right. Risk to reward is how you're going to get the best return on your investment, not the lot size. You get what I'm saying? The lot size is just going to determine how much you're going to make or lose per pip or per point. That is not going to help you make more money just because you have a bigger lot size. That's how people end up over leveraging, blowing accounts, or trying to trade like US30 and shit with $100, $200, and they think, oh wow, I'm making so much money. US30 just makes you so much money. It's like, no, it's not that US30 is making you a lot of money. It seems like a lot of money because you're trading US30 on a fucking $100 account. But if you was trading US30 on a $10,000 account or a $20,000 account and risking that same amount, lot size wise, that you're putting onto US30, would that be a big amount? Still no, because you have an actual account size for that, right? So that's why it's important to, again, not think whole numbers, but think percentages, and those percentages will turn into whole numbers. Okay, so boom, we're risking $100 still. So this trade was a 1 to 2. This one was a 1 to 3. So let's say we took this setup. We're down 100. Again, simple numbers. 100 times 2, because it's a 1 to 2 short ratio setup, is 200. So again, we started with 10 bands, we lost 100 on NAS, then we made 200 on this trade, right? Again, we risked the same amount, but we made money off the back end, which is the risk to reward, not the lot size or how much we're risking per trade. So this is how you keep the losses small, but the wins always big. But also, this is how your wins will always cancel out your losses, and why in that video I'm able to confidently title it without it being clickbait, how to never blow your account again, because if you follow those steps, you'll never blow your account again. Speaking from experience, so when I follow those steps, I follow those rules, which I have for the past year consistently, I have not blown the account since, right? Especially my personal account, I have not blown the account since. It's very, 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 very simple, y'all. It's very, 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 very simple, okay? So we got some alerts popping up. We got a little bit of action. Let's see what this 15 is going to be looking like. We got a few minutes to the next 5-minute pops off. Again, we got FOMC today. Yeah, so I'm going to go live with the members during this. And then I'll probably go live on TikTok after we go live for FOMC. Or I might go live before. I have to check my schedule, but I'm going to go live on TikTok today for sure. It was a little busy yesterday, but my schedule is going to clear at least towards the middle and end of New York session. So it'll either be before FOMC, I might do the TikTok live, end it before we go live with the members, or I'll do the live with the members during FOMC, and then after the live with the members go live on TikTok. It'll be one of the two. It'll be one of the two. But if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. We got a few sites we're looking at. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free signal for your Telegram. You see on your screen how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. All right. So again, just was doing a recap of yesterday. But not only I did a few more things, right? So I made my money back. Obviously, this loss was canceled out by the GU setups that we took on Monday. But then I also took the gold setups, and then also made my money back on NAS, right? Because again, I marked out some other key price levels. Because again, I analyzed the charts. I understood that wasn't wrong for going for buys. It just simply wasn't the right time to go for buys, right? So then I entered buys again, made my money back here as well. So we're going to be looking for continued buys on NAS, y'all. So we got a few levels. NAS can break and hold, but if NAS can hold 19,940 as support, we're going to be looking for continued buys going through 20,100. Okay, so gold, this is also why we don't break out trade. We want to wait for price to hold that support. So imagine we would have entered this if the price broke this level instead of waiting for the test confirmation. We'd be in drawdown right now. And potential risk based on unnecessary loss. That's simply just not waiting for that retest confirmation. All right, so we're looking at possible continued gold buys as well. Gold can hold 33.94 support. We're looking for buys going to 34.10. I'm looking at possible GN sales. The GN can break and hold 22.30, not 22.30, 22.25 is resistance. We can break and hold this as resistance. We're looking for sales going down to 21.40. All right, make sure to like the live, y'all. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to check that out after the live stream. Got a new video dropping for y'all today as well at the beginning of the New York session. So make sure to have that notice on and the bell on as well. Let me grab my. Yeah, I don't got them. I'm gonna grab them in a second. Yeah, my mic. Let me fix my mic. It is a little static. Let me fix it real quick. Test, test, test. Let me see if that helped. Let me see if that fixed it. All right, that sounds a lot better. Okay. New 5 minute just popped up. Yeah, so we got a few setups we're looking at right here. Again, we're just simply patiently waiting. I'm going long for gold. Yep, that's the game plan for today. All right. I wouldn't really recommend sells because especially after what price did on Monday and yesterday. Right. We talked about this when we went live on TikTok on Monday, as well as live on London session Monday. How we did have bearish momentum, which is why we went for sales on Friday last week. But just like with GN, we're struggling to break and hold this next low as resistance, which caused a rejection and reversal. That is what happened with gold. Gold failed to hold this low as resistance, re-entered on Friday, failed to break and hold it as resistance again. And then if y'all was in the London session live Monday, or if you watched the London session live from Monday, we was looking for gold sales. But again, we patiently waited for what? Our confirmations. We saw price was struggling to hold a low as resistance, so we didn't pull the trigger and go for sales. And because we followed our rules and was patient, we avoided the unnecessary loss and we didn't get caught in the reversal. Right. So then after price reversed and started to treat this level back as support, that's when we was going for buys yesterday, right? Because again, price broke this resistance level, held it as support, which is why we went for buys, right? And again, if you watch the Sunday chart analysis, that's what we was talking about in the Sunday chart analysis as well. So again, make sure to hit that first link in the description, join the free signal free Telegram, watch the Sunday chart analysis. I always tell y'all the Sunday chart analysis goes over not just what we see price doing Sunday night going into Monday, but it goes over what we see price doing throughout the entire week, y'all. And speaking of weeks, if y'all go up in here as well, you'll see how we ended last week. Last week we went 5-0. The win streak did end yesterday though, but we're still up for the week and we still had an amazing month last month. But the win streak is finally over, y'all. But it is what it is because, again, you got to lose at some point. But last week we went 5-0, catching 81,120 pips. You click right here, it's going to take you to the beginning of the week. Again, we drop the Sunday chart analysis at the beginning of every week. All wins and losses are posted. We go live every single day. All these trades we break down, if not as well, enter during these London session lives. And if you scroll down to May 2nd, you'll see how we ended April last month. Went 16-1. We took one loss last month. Give us a 94% win rate. Catching total 68,765 pips. So again, make sure to hit that first link in the description and check all this stuff out. You guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop them in the chat. About to see what this next 5 and 15 looks like. Again, we're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. We're about to see if gold can hold this level as support for us, as well as let's see what NAS. GJ just broke that level. Let's see what NAS got going on. So GJ's got some work to do. So I do have this buy idea here, but understand going for a buy here. You can, if price can hold 191.25 as support, we can look for buys going to 191.85 on GBPUSD. The only thing is we need to hold this low as support for the uptrend and bullish momentum to continue. Right? If we reject this level, we're in reversal territory still. But just like here, if the reversal, the downtrend is going to come to play, we're going to have to break the support level, treat as resistance, which we can see price is not doing. So we are still technically bullish on this, right? And another way we know we're still technically bullish on this is, fuck, I didn't pull it out. I should have pulled it out. I should have pulled it out before we before I went live. But you know what's funny? I had the book out, but I closed the tab the book was in when I was starting the live up, and now I gotta pull it out. But let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out. I just gotta block my screen really quick. I just gotta block my screen really quick because that's hilarious. One time I didn't have to block my screen because sometimes my thing would pop up on my main screen, but this time it popped up on my left screen, which is hilarious. But better safe than sorry, so I ain't tripping. Better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm about to pull the screen up in a second. Actually, I can do it right now. Add the stage. All right, we're back to business. All right. So, again, another reason why we know we're in the uptrend still is by following what the playbook says about the rules to the uptrend. So give me 1 second. I'm about to pull it up right now. Wait, I might have actually not even needed to do what I did. Let's see. Oh, I didn't. Okay. So what the playbook says about the uptrend is rejections and reversals happen, but a reversal doesn't always mean the trend is going to change. As long as price doesn't turn the support level into resistance and or make a lower low, we're still in the uptrend, still only looking for buys. So when we look at GJ, right? This is what price was looking like, right? We had the higher high, higher low, higher high. So again, what did I just say? Let's bring it back out. It says as long as price doesn't turn the support level into resistance and or make a lower low, we're still in an uptrend, still looking for buy. So price needs to turn this support level into a resistance for the downtrend to come into play. And obviously, when we cancel out the replay, we can see that price has not done so yet and is still holding it as support, which is why I said we're still in an uptrend, but for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level, the higher level. So we have to break these resistance levels above us for the uptrend to continue, right? So this was the previous resistance level. Price failed to hold that level of support, but it still respected, held the higher low support level as support, which is why we're still bullish, which is why also price came to a halt here yesterday and why price has been pushing up so far all day. But again, for the uptrend to continue, we still got a little bit of work to do. But this is why it's important to understand the conditions of the market, the rules of the trend, and what needs to happen for the trend to continue and or change. All right, y'all. So that's what's going on with GJ. Let's bring it back to gold. Gold's still kind of the same situation. So is NAS. So yeah, I'm really going to be paying attention to GN and GJ right here, especially because again we have FOMC. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any setups prior to FOMC, but I really want to catch this next move here. But just because I want to catch the next move doesn't mean I'm going to be hasty still, because again we see plenty of examples of why you don't want to be hasty or fumble in, and why you just want to patiently wait for your confirmations and your setups to play out. All right, new 15 just popped up. Let's see what we got going on. Again, price failed to hold this level of support, which is why we wait for price to not just break the level, but wait for the retest confirmation. But we're still looking for buys from this nonetheless. But again, just like the rules of uptrend said, for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. So that's what gold failed to do so yesterday, right? It approached it, but it failed to break past it, right? And then what else does it say? It says we also have to respect the support level, the higher lows resting on, right? So we got to break this resistance level to continue the uptrend and for the higher high to continue. We also have to respect this support level here. So again, we still got a little bit of work to do, but we're in an uptrend, so we're clearly still going to look for buys until price shows us otherwise. Again, we just keep it simple. We don't try to outsmart price. We don't try to beat price to the chase. We simply just follow the flow of price and let price do all the work for us. Right past the high of the wick, right? So technically the wick would be the high. So it's still, yeah, so it has to do that too, right? It has to do that too. But before we can get to that, we have support resistance levels below that, right? So the support resistance levels all over the place. This is some more game, right? So again, the levels I mark off, or this is why I call them key price levels, because again, these aren't the only support resistance levels that you can trade gold off of, or trade NAS off of, or GJ, whatever the case may be. But these levels I have marked off, I mark off because again, this helps us have a pathway and a cheat code to when the next level price is most likely going to reject or hold, right? So when we look at price here, we can see that, right? So we can see here when there's volume, price can break through these levels. But when there's a lack of volume, or after we didn't move, price holds at these levels, and then it has to either hold it as support or turn into resistance, right? Same thing here. We went for a sell here, right? So again, we see when there was volume, price blew through this level. But when there was a lack of volume, which we can see in these candlesticks, what did price do? It halted here, which helped us catch this sell to the downside, because once volume picked up, boom, right? But again, look, the same exact level, price stopped at. And then look, before it took off, it stopped here as well when there was low volume. And then when the volume picked up, look how it blew through this level. But then when the volume slowed down, it stopped here, volume picked up, blew through, right? And it chilled here, blew through. But this is why we mark off these levels, because this helps us prepare for the next rejection or the next push to the upside or downside, right? So again, you can see here, our price through this level of support, stopped here, turned this low into support, stopped here, failed to hold this low of support, which caused the rejection, right? Then it failed to hold this low of support, so it came back down to this level, and notice how it halted perfectly here. And then again, look how price is reacting here and how it's reacting here in real time. So this is why we mark off these key price levels. But there's key price, well, I'm gonna say there's support resistance levels all over the place. So yes, that wick would be the high that needs to be broken, but before we can do that, we have other levels that need to be broken and held below it. And because we're not swing trading, right? Like I was talking about the trade breakdowns, we're simply just identifying the trend on the daily, but we're not necessarily swing trading or trading on the daily. This is why we aren't just trading strictly off of, you know, support resistance levels or things like that on the daily. It's a little bit more complicated. It's not complicated, but it's a little bit more complicated than, it's not, let me not say that, it's not as simple as that, right? But the process isn't complicated, stuff like that. So yeah, so the short version of your answer, short version of the answer to your question is yes, but the long version, which I just said, is what's also relevant and needed and required for that to happen. All right, so we see GJ pushing off. Again, if we can hold 191.15 and 191.20 support, we can look for buys going to 191.90. But for the uptrend to continue, we need to hold this level as support. All right, we need to hold this level as support. This is the same area last week where we were stuck in consolidation, not struggling to break above or below. But this is how people fell for that fake out and shit last week as well, because again, volume was low, chilled at this level. Once volume picked up, took off. And again, if y'all was in a live stream on Thursday last week, price retested, entered off of that, shot up all day, right? And then again, we had this key price level, also had this key price level. Pay attention to how price reacted when it came here. So again, we understand how to read the charts. We're following and sticking to the playbook. And then on top of that, we have these key price levels marked off. So we're prepared for the next rejection or the next push in our favor. So where's the confusion coming into play? Where's the head scratching? Where's all the stress come from? It's immediately gone because, again, we're prepared for literally everything. We understand the rules of price. We're going with the highest likelihood, the highest probability, highest quality setup. And then on top of that, we have these key price levels marked off to be prepared way ahead of time of the next possible rejections or pushes against or in our favor. So again, so no matter what price does, we know what's going to happen next and we're prepared for it. We also know what we need to do, right? So again, so all that confusion, stress, and all that stuff is literally out the window. That's why I talk about all the time. You know, when we take these trades, I have full confidence in all the trades I take, right? Obviously, NAS100 hit stop loss, but that doesn't mean that I didn't have confidence in that trade. That doesn't mean I didn't have confidence in any other trades I took, right? Because like we just broke down at the beginning of the live, buys was not the wrong move to go for. It was just simply a lack of volume. You know what I'm saying? It was just simply a lack of volume, which again, we don't control. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Drop them in the chat. And those that's been following the weekly stock and crypto analysis and plays, y'all should be super up on everything. Stock and crypto. I just dropped an update for Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum yesterday. No, not yesterday, on Monday. Yesterday I dropped updated stock video analysis. I still got to update a few other ones, but until I do the update, make sure to watch this video because all these levels haven't been hit yet and met either. But we're up from this video. I dropped this video 2 weeks ago. Literally that first week, everything started pushing up. But make sure to check out this one as well, especially for those that's trying to get into the long term and get some passive income for your crypto. Definitely get into that, right? Staking is like dividend investing for stocks, but better. And what I mean by that is with staking coins, you don't have to wait 3 months to get your payout. You don't have to hold it for 3 months to get your payout. You don't even have to wait a month to get a payout, right? Now, obviously, just like with dividend stocks, when it says, oh, you get a 4% dividend, that's not 4% every quarter or 4% every dividend payout. That's 4% of whatever you have for the year, right? But with that, again, you only get payouts and you have to hold it for that time. So you're only going to get a payout once a month, every 3 months, every quarter. But with staking crypto coins, you can get payouts every week, sometimes every day, right? But at the end of the day, to get that 4% APY, you still have to hold for that year to see and experience that. But the percentage is a lot higher too. Like with dividends, now there are some that I'm going to talk about that are a little bit higher now. But like the main popular ones, they're like, if you're getting like 8% dividend, and it's not like the smaller new stocks that came out a few years ago. You're talking about popular ones. That's like the real estate ones, right? Like JPY, which I talked about before. which I talked about before. By the way, if y'all have those, y'all should be up on those as well. Like those are 7-8% dividend payouts, and those are monthly. So when because I have dividend portfolio for stocks as well, but the main ones I have in my dividend portfolio, I have a few that pays out quarterly, like the cross swap and a couple other ones. But the main ones in my stock dividend portfolio are real estate, and it's because again I have a balance, but I'll have a lot more in the real estate ones because I like my stuff. I like my money quick. I don't like to wait too long, right? So I rather wait a month to get monthly payouts with a higher percentage than wait 3 months with a lower percentage, right? Because a lot of these popular ones, you're going to get 5 to 2% dividends. You have to wait fucking 3 months. But with like JPY or even a couple of the smaller ones that I've talked about in the past, you can get monthly payouts and they're 8 to 7% APY, which is not bad at all. But with crypto staking, you can get coins that are minimum 8% to as high as 15, 16% APY, APR, which is literally double, triple some of those dividend investment stocks. And then on top of that, you don't got to wait a month. You don't got to wait 3 months. You can get weekly payouts, sometimes daily payouts. So that's a great way to get passive income on top of them being cheaper than a lot of these stocks. So you'll get a lot more bang for your buck and all that good stuff. So definitely make sure to check out that video if you're interested in crypto as well as, being long term and building up a passive income portfolio or whatever the case may be. All right, so we got a new 15 new hour about to pop up in a little bit, y'all. Again, we are not into any of these trades. These are just trade ideas. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Go to free signal free Telegram. You see on your screen how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. Now, again, we got FOMC later on today at 2 o'clock. Going to be going live with the members and students during that. So members and students, make sure to be on the lookout for that link when I send it out. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, y'all. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram, playmaker_way. TikTok _playmakerway_ post daily on both pages. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, though, y'all. Going to be on for a little bit longer, though. What do I think about the future of XRP? I don't think XRP is going to go anywhere. It's just kind of chilling right now because again, it did a big push last year, and that push was not too long ago. So that's another thing people got to understand when it comes to long-term investing, right? So again, a lot of people are just getting into crypto, are still learning, understanding what crypto is. And if you're going to try to understand and learn what crypto is, you got to understand what Web3 is. Okay, that's dealing with XRP and all crypto coins. You have to do your research on Web3 to fully understand what crypto is and why it's relevant and why it's the future and taking over, right? Because again, we talk about this a lot every now and then, but a lot of people do not understand that you're using the blockchain technology as we speak today in y'all's everyday lives, and things are being put onto the blockchain in real time, right under y'all's noses. Y'all don't have no idea, right? But XRP is just a coin, right? Ripple is the company, and if you look at Ripple and you follow what Ripple's been doing, especially since last year after the lawsuit and stuff got handled, they're working with a lot of businesses and companies. So if Ripple, the company, is working with a lot of businesses and companies, XRP is the coin they're using. Ripple, they also made a Ripple coin too, but that's another conversation. When Web3 pops out and everything really does fully get digitized and put onto blockchains and stuff like that, XRP is going to go up, right? So that's why everybody last year was talking about, oh, XRP to the moon, blah, 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 because it does have potential to not only break the all-time highs, but hit $5, maybe even $10. But that's not going to just happen overnight, right? It's a process. Like if you look at these charts, like since we're talking about XRP, we can talk about XRP, right? So which one? What is this one? No, it's not that one. It's going to be this one. All right. So we look at XRP, right? When it first approached this all-time high, this was back in 2017. What happened in 2017 after it hit this? They rejected. We fast forward, it did not approach or come close back to those all-time highs until 2021, right? And again, what is the rules to the uptrend? Let's pull the photo back the playbook. Also, by the way, this book's linked in the this book's available now too. The introduction of Web3, prepare for the future of the internet, crypto, and how to prepare. Goes over the introduction of Web3, the history of cryptocurrency, major companies investing in crypto, Web3, how to prepare for Web3 revolution, and more. Like I said, whether people know it or not or accept it or not, Web3 is taking over, right? But just like we was talking about the rules of the uptrend, for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives us a new higher high. We also have to respect the support level the higher low is resting on. So price failed to break this resistance level and treat it as support versus what we saw happen this year. Price retested, held that level of support, which is why I told y'all if y'all got in at 160, y'all be stupid up right now. But of course, if y'all was here last year, I was telling y'all to get in ever since it broke past 70 cents, right? But again, this was 2021. Price did not come back up to this price until 2024. And then again, price broke this resistance level, came back to this resistance level here, right? Failed to break that resistance, hold that support. So it retraced and held this resistance level as support. Right. So now we got to break these next two levels for the uptrend to continue. And that's what price is trying to do. Now, again, price isn't just going to shoot up nonstop every day, every week, every month. That's just not how it works. That's why a lot of people last year during Q4 are confused, fucked, or they lost because they were doing shit they didn't fully understand, right? Especially like with the meme coin shit. That's why I don't really talk about meme coins, because people want to get the bad misconception understanding of what cryptocurrency is. It's not just meme coins. It's not trying to find a coin that's 0.00000000001 cents and then buying it, turning $2 into 10K. That's not what cryptocurrency is about. That's not the purpose. Right. So when all that stuff was happening last year, people was getting hyped up. But again, if you don't understand how investing works, you don't understand how to read the charts, you're going to always be late to the party. And that's including pulling out profits as well as entering before big moves happen, right? That's why when everything was retracing, everybody was talking, oh my God, things are crashing, crypto is crashing. We look at XRP. Does this look like a crash? No, right? But everybody was talking about everything is crashing. Retracements don't mean things are crashing, but because again, people don't look at the charts, they just buy shit or watch the news or these fear mongering pages. They don't understand how shit works, right? Everybody was happy quarter 4 when we had 3-4 months of price shooting up, but they were freaking out and confused or blaming Trump and all this other shit when price retraced for 2-3 months. Like if price can shoot up for 2-3 months, why would a retracement of 2-3 months be something crazy, right? Like again, I know y'all saw the videos. People saying, "Oh my God, this is the 30th consecutive day of Tesla. The stock's going down. Oh my God, this is crazy." But nobody was saying shit when it was the 60th consecutive day of price going up, the 90th consecutive day of price going up, right? So that's why it's important to understand how to read the charts, to understand what we're doing here. At the end of the day, it's the same thing when it comes to trading. A lot of people fuck up or get fucked in trading because again, they think it's some get rich quick scheme, or they see some video and get a bad understanding of what trading really is. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can make money trading. Yes, you can make part-time income trading. Yes, you can make full-time income trading. Yes, you can quit your jobs and trade and make money trading. But at the end of the day, all that shit does not matter because at the end of the day, we're investing. So if you don't treat it like investing, that's why people be like, "Oh, trading's gambling." It's like that's why I always say trading is not gambling. You're just gambling. Trading isn't risky. You're just being risky. But XRP does the purpose. But again, I'm saying all this because I don't want y'all, especially y'all that watch me, to think that if you buy something, it's supposed to just move instantly. Now, why have we been able to do such things with stocks and crypto is because we're getting in at key price points, right? If I told y'all to get in at $1.60, we see here that this is a clear resistance level. We rode that wick up. So of course we're going to make a lot more money compared to the average person that's just buying randomly because we bought at a key price level. And just like we enter and exit trades off key price levels, and when we enter and exit trades off key price levels, what happens? We catch volume, we catch big pushes to the upside or downside, right? When we enter and exit all these key price levels, we see clear bounces or rejections. It's the same thing when investing. So if you DCA off these key price levels, you're going to catch these bounces and rejections as well, which is why I was able to, again, this was last month, I was able to literally make a video at the beginning of April, the beginning of the week before FOMC popped off, and then 3 days later when FOMC popped off, we was up a big amount in 3 days. Same thing with the crypto video. That's how we're able to be up in a week or 2 weeks off a crypto analysis video because we're entering off key price lows and we're not just necessarily buying randomly, right? So if y'all watch this video here on April 9th, you watch this video here, 5 stocks to buy non-stop for the next 45 days, and you time it with this, it was like 3 days or 2 days after I dropped this video, it went up this much. Now, how is that possible? Because again, we're entering off key price levels, right? That's also why we was able to be up this much at the end of the month, right? Same thing with the crypto coins, right? Like I said here, I dropped this video 3 days prior to this, and then 3 days after dropping that video, all these are up. You should be up on all these still, by the way, right? But that's also why when you trade off the charts and enter off key price levels, you're also able to beat the percentages. Now, these are old screenshots, but this is examples here, right? It says it's 6% up for the day, but my return for the day is 8%. Now, how am I up 8% when it only is 6% for the day? Because again, I'm entering off key price points, right? That's how much 17% for the day was only up 8% price wise for the day because I'm entering off key price levels, right? That's why I said with a lot of these stocks in crypto, y'all should be up a lot more than you're saying, right? A perfect example of Solana. If we go to Solana right now, I'm about to pull up my phone right now. If we go to Solana right now, it is going to say for the month, and I'm going to send a screenshot to show y'all this is literally what it's saying. I'm about to screenshot and send the screenshot to myself. then GJ's doing a nice push. Gold's still trying to figure his life out. Yen is still teasing us. All right. So Solana says for the month, it's only done a 24% increase, $28 for the month. It's the 7th. If we go to April 7th, price was at $96. So if I entered at $96 and price went as high as $50, is that 20%? If I entered at $95, $96, $100 and price went as high as $150, it went up higher, but we're just going to keep it $150. Is that more than 20%? Yes. If I bought $100 and it went to $150, that is more than a 20% gain. So you see how we beat this number last month, and we're doing this in real time. It is May 7th. I'm going to April 7th. This is more than 20% gain, right? So this is why it's important to make all your decisions based on the charts. It's the same thing with day trading. I don't watch the news. I don't know what these reports end up saying. I don't know none of this shit. I don't care either. But I'm still able to do these analysis at the beginning of the week and every day, way before news pops off, and still have it be accurate, right? Like another example is with a proof of that is when we pull up NAS100. When we pull up NAS100, and I was showing this to a member student in one session. I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or Monday. I can't remember. Right. This was Friday. Right. This was Friday. Yeah, I was in the lives last week. We broke these down and entered these during the lives last week. Right. So when we go to the news last week, we had Friday 8:30 news, right? We had news at 8:30 on Friday. We go into the advanced play signal room. This is an old signal, so I don't need nobody to take this. Okay. I'm just showing you this for the example. These are old signals. Okay. So again, we see April 30th. We went live after April 30th. Boom. This was Thursday the 1st. Thursday the 1st. We went for another NAS buy. Again, London session. All right. We hit TP5. Then what did price do after we hit TP5? It rejected. So this is why you have to follow flow price on the bigger time frame. Because imagine if I was trying to enter off the 5-minute and doing my trend off the 5-minute, my full analysis off the 5-minute chart. People would have thought sells here. But then when price did this, what would they have said? Oh, I should have not went for buys. I should have went for buys because when the uptrend, no, they're going to say, oh, classic fake out liquidity sweep, or oh, the bulls just came into play. No, it's because we're in the fucking uptrend. And again, we took this trade Thursday. What was the final TP on this trade? Well, let's find out. All right. 20,070. What I'm going to do is grab this line right here. I'm going to go to coordinates. Damn, I fucked that up. I think I put too many zeros, so we're going to do that shit again. I put one too many zeros, so we're about to do this right here. So 2070 will be right here. So we're going to do that again. Oh, right here. So we can clearly see that we did not hit the final TP, and we can clearly see TP5 19,990. We go to this wick right here. We look to the very right. That is 20,040. So we actually hit TP7 instead of TP5. So I might have miscalculated the pips almost exposed all my messages. I think I might have miscalculated my pips when I counted up that trade, but that's besides. I'll look at that. I'll look at that after I finish this breakdown. Just stay with me for a second. Yeah, we hit TP7. I think we hit TP6, but that's besides the point, right? So we go to Friday. Again, all night, all morning price was consolidating. And if y'all was in the live stream on Friday, the London session live stream, what did I say? I said if volume is dead between now, 4 a.m., and 6 a.m., it's most likely going to be like that up until the news or after the news. And again, this was Friday the 2nd. We had 8:30 news Friday the 2nd, as we can see here. And look at what price does as soon as the news pops off. Right off my key price level, the same price level that was being held in support here that we went for buys on. 8:30, volume kicked in, shot up, and then did the exact move we was looking for. So is the news so scary that the news is so scary and unpredictable that it just so happens to still respect my key price levels, still follow the rules of price, even volatility, right? But also still push to the upside when we're in an uptrend. Is that a crazy thing to happen? No. So again, this shows you that all the other shit comes second to understanding how to read the charts, because it doesn't matter if it's a holiday, it doesn't matter if it's high impact news, no news, low volume, high volume, uptrend, downtrend. Price is always going to follow these rules of price, no matter what. All right, which is why I always focus on price. So GJ's going as projected. Shout out to those that got into that. Gold's still kind of chilling right there. And let's go back to my NAS chart. And the NAS is still trying to make his mind up. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, y'all. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at your charts, drop them in the chat. And again, this is why we don't break out trade. Because again, imagine we would have took a trade here just because price broke the level, would have took an unnecessary loss. We took a trade here just because price broke the level, we'd be in drawdown right now, and at risk of taking another unnecessary loss. Versus with GJ, price broke the level and retested, right? It's probably not going to play back because these are recent candlesticks, but let's see if we can get some action, right? So look at how price broke the level, retested. But y'all saw it, right? It turned from green to red, retested, and now it's doing the move versus here. Price failed to hold the retest, price failed versus here, price retested, and now we see price pushing up, right? So this is again exactly why we wait for the retest confirmations. We look at gold, same thing. Imagine who got excited because we saw this juicy, what y'all call this, engulfing candlesticks or whatever the fuck. Imagine we got excited because we saw this juicy candlestick going for a buy. We took an unnecessary loss versus waiting for the retest, then went for a buy, right? So again, this is why I always tell y'all, just be patient, stick to the rules, and don't be in any rush to take any setups. Right? What about gold? Gotta be specific. Gotta be a little bit more specific with your question so I can answer it properly. What about gold? Are you asking what I'm looking at for gold? What are you asking? You know what you're asking. Gotta be a little bit more specific. See, the way you're thinking about it is already wrong. The way you're thinking about it. So you're saying is gold still buying or consolidating? Consolidating has nothing to see. The way you're wording it, it sounds like some bears versus bulls stuff. That's not how the charts work, right? If we're in an uptrend, we're looking for buys. If we're in a downtrend, we're looking for sells. Consolidation happens no matter what trend we're in, right? So we're looking for buys still. So you're saying we is gold still buying or consolidating? That sounds like some bear versus bull lingo. Again, that's not how the markets move. So we're looking for buys, right? So we're looking for buys. Now, whether price is consolidating or not is another conversation. But even price is consolidating, doesn't stop what our game plan for the day is, right? We're looking for buys. So as far as gold is concerned, if we can hold 33.92 as support, we're looking for buys going to 34.10. If we reject this level and we retrace back down to 33.70, we're going to see if we can hold this level as support. And if we can hold this level as support like we did last night, we're going to look for buys going back up to 33.92. But we're looking for buys all day regardless. We're in an uptrend, so we're only looking for buys. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, y'all. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram, playmaker underscore way. Instagram, TikTok's underscore playmaker way underscore. Post daily on both pages. Got some new posts lined up for y'all today as well. Let's see what we got going up in here. All right, no problem. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been live since y'all joined. Again, we have FOMC later on today. We're still going to be on the charts looking for setup. Let's go back to this week. Going to be going live with the members during that. Like I said, be on the lookout for when I go live on TikTok. I got it figured out later on. But I'm either going to go live before FOMC on TikTok, then end it and go live during FOMC with the members, or what I'm kind of leaning on is go live with the members during FOMC, then after that, go live on TikTok. So I'm probably going to do that, but I'm going to be going live later on today on TikTok, so make sure to follow me on there. Got a new video dropping on YouTube later on today as well at the beginning of the New York session, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. If y'all want to contact me directly, y'all can DM me on Instagram, Telegram, or TikTok. I'll respond on messages. If you're interested in signal services, learning how to trade or how to identify these key price levels and all that good stuff, make sure to hit those links in the description and join the advanced play sooner or get you a one-on-one session or a course. Again, if you do one-on-one sessions, you get access to the advanced play signal as well as the student in the group chat. That way you can earn while you learn. And then you get a session a week that's an hour long. Each session is recorded and sent to you same day. Those recordings are yours to keep for life, which is definitely a big, huge investment or return on investment, I should say. And then there's also the course where you get access to student as well as the videos breaking down the whole process of how I trade, how I get the charts, mark off my key price levels, enter trades, exit trades, go over my buy and selling strategy. The revamp course is dropping this weekend. As I told y'all, that revamp is dropping, so that's going to drop in this weekend. Then on top of the course, which is the one-time payment, you get lifetime daily analysis every day during the New York session. You also get sent the New York price watch list. But not only do I teach you how to trade, but every day I send y'all videos going over the charts I'm personally looking at, specific price points, look for buys and sells at. It's super easy. All you got to do is, again, stick to the playbook, practice it, and then every day I send you literally setups I'm looking at. So all you got to do is pay attention to those charts, those setups, those price points, and then use what I teach in the course of one sessions to go take setups. All right, y'all. You watch the last 2 minutes of any of my YouTube videos. I go over all the details of those. But of course, you guys got any further questions, you can just DM me. But yeah, we're gonna be back at it live same time tomorrow, London session 3 in EST.